Stay home, stay safe, and now is the best time to play those games that haven't been played in a long time. Have a good show.
Hi, I'm Joel. I'm a patron supporter of No Enemies Here. This is the real Las Vegas. And you're watching No Enemies Here, Wargaming News, a Boxed on a Lid production.
Concerning the GMT cancellation of the April weekend at the warehouse event. This is due to the coronavirus, and also they're in compliance with the governor of the state of California, and they're sorry for all the problems and inconveniences they've caused anybody going there, and they're just doing this for the health of their customers and employees. So hopefully you understand. And I'll keep you abreast of other news. Please check No Enemies Here. Please check my YouTube site for any cancellation concerning any conventions. I'll be posting those up as soon as I get the information on No Enemies Here YouTube channel. Conference Games and World War II Commander Battle of the Bulge. Battle of the Bulge is a two-player game of the German offensive against Western Allies in December 1944. And what you get with this game is a mounted 25 by 22 inch map, 140 counters, a rulebook, a German Order of Battle, an Allied Order of Battle, 2 raid cards, 50 activation cubes, 40 wooden German control discs, 7 10-sided dice, and a box and a lid. Designed by John H. Butterfield. Complexity is 4 out of 10. Solitaire suitability is 7 out of 10. The time scale is 1 day. The map scale is abstracted, 15 miles across. Unit scale are divisions. This is a 1 to 2 player game, best with 2. Playing time, 45 minutes, the intro scenario to a 3-hour campaign. GMT Games and The Hunted. A game designed by who else but Gregory M. Smith. And what you get with this game is a full counter sheet, rule booklet with designer notes, 5 player aid cards, 6 U-boat display mats, 2 U-boat patrol maps, a U-boat combat map, 8 U-boat commandant cards, U-boat patrol log sheet, 3 6-sided, 2 10-sided, and 1 20-sided die, and it's boxed. Labyrinth, The War on Terror is available now on Steam. You have early access and a great price. Check it out. GMT's Labyrinth, designed by Volko Ronki. Strategemata and How the West Was Saved. The Russo-Polish War, April to October 1928 game by Stephen Pohl. The artwork by Krzysztof Korsenia. The most fertile ground for revolution was Germany. Political dissension had escalated into mob violence. Lenin decided to send Bolshevik troops to assist fellow socialists. Between Russia and Germany lay Poland. War was inevitable. How the West Was Saved, a game designed by Stephen Pohl, published by Strategemata. Shout out to Steve, one of my Patreon supporters, who gave me this link on Big Cat Games, Pacific Go. This is a 2-player game themed in the Pacific War. The designer is Wataru Horiba. Publisher is Horiba Kobu on Big Cat Games webpage. And it says sold out, but it's not. There was a little bit of a foobar or a snafu. Huh? GMT Games and The Hunted, a game designed by who else but Gregory M. Smith. And what you get with this game is a full counter sheet, rule booklet with designer notes, 5 player aid cards, 6 U-boat display mats, 2 U-boat patrol maps, a U-boat combat map, 8 U-boat commandant cards, U-boat patrol log sheet, 3 6-sided, 2 10-sided, and 1 20-sided die, and it's boxed. DVG, 25% off. Use this code. Okay, let's call him what he wants to be called. Marco Omnigamer checks out 2 of Worthington Publishing's games. But before we go there, check this out.
In a world where a man changes his alias from Marco Wargamer to Marco Omnigamer, we scratch our heads and wonder why. And here is a recent picture of that change. Now, as we see here, he is reviewing Stalingrad Besieged, a Worthington Publishing war game. If we go up to the right, we see Ardennes 44, a Mark Simonich game. Plus, going down, 2 SPQR games from GMT, one of the world's leading wargame publishers. Caesars? Conquest of Gaul? Cataphract? Must be a mistake, Omnigamer. Now, we go left, far left, and we see an old Victory Point Games. Angels 1-5. War game. Final Act, a war game. Napoleon. Doesn't sound very Omni to me. And as we go right, I see war games. Wait, maybe this one here. Pericles. That's gotta be it. Pericles. Must be a resource management game. The game of Pericles. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The transition to Omnigamer. Pericles.
Don't comment on the name, it's Pericles. I know, I'm making a joke. Get with it. Also, Marco reviews Shiloh, April 6th to 7th, 1862. And the ASL Scenario Archive men are playing Valor of the Guards in Sight of the Volga. This is a ASL game, obviously, and it's a historical ASL module, and they're in Illuminating Rounds 15. Rough Swordsman continues his playthrough of Israeli Force Leader from DVG, a game designed by Dan Verson, and also he unboxes Shore Invasions, expansion number 43 of DVG's Warfighter World War II, and unboxes The Hunted, Twilight of the U-Boats 1943-45, a new release from Gregory M. Smith, published by GMT Games. Dad vs. Son is doing a playthrough of Fields of Fire Volume 1, Normandy Mission number 4, Hill 192 Offensive. You want to know what's happening on the big board? I'll tell you what's happening on the big board. First, I'd like to thank Kevin for counseling me on trolls, the internet. Well, counseling me. It's not like something I didn't know, but sometimes, you know, you just You want to lose it. And there was a guy on a Facebook page on the Solitaire War Games. He was just being probably himself. And just dissing this guy, dissing that person, dissing this show, dissing that show. Thanks, Kev, for not making me go over to his house and do what I thought I had to do. So Kevin Big Man, CEO, is checking out the little land, the Battle of Novorossiysk, a game designed by Adam Starkweather, published by Compass Games. The Strong Man of War Games, Rob Orrin of Rob's Tabletop World. In his segment War and Pieces, he checks out Worthington Publishing's game, designed by Mike and Grant Wiley, North Africa. Hold Fast, North Africa I should say, 1941 to 1942. And Chief of Bonding with Board Games has an episode hand tag, The Fans' Top 5 Kickstarters, and that was live. And the man famously known for lighting up parties, Calandale, Enrico Viglino, wraps up Westphalia, a game for 6 players by Tom Russell, published by HOLLANDSPIELE. And the Gentlemen of the Player's Aid review campaigns of 1777 from Strategy and Tactics magazine number 316. They also review Knights of Fire, Battle for Budapest, a game designed by Brian Train and David Turksey from Mighty Boards. And they do an unboxing of The Hunted, a game by Gregory Smith, published by GMT. And Ardwulf of Ardwulf'S Lair unboxes Saipan, The Bloody Rock. This is a game designed by Ross Mortel and Adam Starkweather, and it's published by Compass Games. And cousin AJ Toynbee of Hexes and Soldiers has a video out on, it's a factoid number 3 of Lady Death, Lyudmila Pavlichenko. And also, he gives us designer note on Storms Over Arnhem. This is a game designed by Courtney F. Allen, published by the old Avalon Hill Game Company. Steve Jackson Games is live with Car Wars Edition number 6, March Madness, Duels 1 and 2. Todd of the Itinerant Hobbyist, probably in his robe, playing Hatton in Flames turns 2, 3, and 4 from Lock and Load Publishing. The Oaken Night continues his playthrough of Lock and Load Publishing's World at War 85 with Drive on Gießen, day 1, early morning. Tune in, turn on, and drop out with Tim of Harebrained Games. He gives us his weekend games. And Jan Heinemann Let's Play History has a slew of videos out. He continues his playthrough of Through the Darkest of Times and also Strategic Command World War II War in Europe. Military Board Gamer continues his playthrough of Burma, a game designed by Dean Essig and Dave Fredericks, published by The Gamers or Multi-Man Publishing. Burma, the campaign for North Burma. March to August 1944 is the 6th game in the Operational Combat Series. USA Patriot 4163 gives us a component overview of a game I never heard of. Gela Beachhead, a game designed by Stephen B. Patrick and Milton Rosenberg, published by Centurion Games. Stephen Dolges continues his playthrough of The Dark Valley, a game by Ted Racier, turns 37 through 40. Kyle City does a playthrough of The Last Stand at Isandlwana from Strategy and Tactics, issue number 314. Combat Board Games unbags Legends of the Ancient World. Wolves on the Rhine, a game designed by Christopher Brandon, published by Dark City Games. Awakening the Bear, 3rd edition, available now. Storms of Steel, 3rd edition, available now.
Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to Centurion's review, the punk rock band of Wargame Review Institutions. First game we're doing a review of is Mall of America from Jolly Roger Games. It's a big box zombie game. It's a huge box, actually. The components are kind of disappointing, but the gameplay is really good. Check out the review because it actually is a fun game. It's just the components are not there for what you would expect from a big game like that. And then first game we're doing a first look at actually as an RPG Universal Fantasy Supplement is the Book of Demons by the Little Soldier Company. It's basically a book about all different types of demons and stuff and summoning them and so forth that you can use in any fantasy RPG game. And then there's the Book of Monsters, which is also from the Little Soldier. These are all 1970s generic fantasy supplements. This is basically a third-party monster manual that can be used with D&D or any fantasy role-playing game. And a lot of the new monsters are from mythology or from Native American tribes and so forth. It's kind of interesting. And then we have Chainmail from Guidon Games. This is from I think the early 1970s, before there was D&D. And before there was TSR, there was Chainmail. It was medieval miniature rules for medieval miniature gaming, and it also had a section of fantasy miniature rules for medieval fantasy type gaming. So it was a precursor to D&D and all that. It's not a role-playing game though; it's just a miniatures game. And then I have Verdun. This is the first game that my dad ever bought. It's what got him into the hobby, and later on got me into the hobby. My dad had sold it. I remember seeing it on the shelf when I was a kid. I never played it. He had sold it, and somehow it came back to one of my friends, and I bought it back from him, so I got the exact copy back. From what I've been told, I look forward to trying it actually soon, is that it's a very bloody game, just like the real battle, so it sounds cool. And then we're doing a first look at Kriegspiel from Avalon Hill. Kind of like it's supposed to be based on chess. I was going to try it until my viewers told me how horrible of a game it is, so I probably won't try it. And then we're doing a first look video at GDW Snapshot. It's a man-to-man combat aboard starships. It can be played as a standalone hex and chit game, or you can use it as man-to-man combat rules for Traveler, but the Traveler rules are not required to play it. And then we have GDW Mayday. We did a first look at that. That's Starship to Starship Combat. It's a Series 120 game, which means it can be played in 2 hours or less by 2 players. Looks pretty interesting. And the last game we have is All Is Lost, Save Honor. It's about the campaigns of the Italian Wars from 1494 to 1530. It's from, let's take a look at this here. This is from Europa Simulations. It has a really nice map. I haven't tried it yet, but it looks like a really high-quality game. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys soon on our website and on our YouTube channel. Have a good evening.
GIMPY Gamer continues his playthrough of Agents of Mayhem, Pride of Babylon, Part 4, a game published by Academy Games, designed by Gunther Eichert. Mamie Fushigi Terebi is back, and she's soloing Circus Train, a game published by Victory Point Games and designed by Tom Decker. And Cody of the Discriminating Gamer is giving Cody's top 10 game disappointments. That's a new one. Tim Korchnoi of Bare Bones Wargaming gives us a playthrough of A House Divided, War Between the States 1861 to 1865, a game designed by Frank Chadwick. The soft-spoken but formidable foe! Jonathan Townsend gives you his thoughts on Gadarian Blitzkrieg, a game designed by Dean Essig, published by The Gamers or Multi-Man Publishing.
A game for gamers, made by gamers, by Flying Pig Games.
Flying Pig Games and Mark Walker's La Résistance! This is a new Kickstarter from Flying Pig Games on right now, and what you get with this game are 6 Resistance Leader cards to track glory points and band members, 35 mission cards such as a Tiger Tank, 9 C'est la Guerre, such as faulty intel, 9 event cards such as heavy casualties, a thick game CHITS to track glory points, a colorful and easy to read rules booklet, and a snazzy box to put it all in.
Occupied France. From June 1940 until October 1944, tens of thousands of women and men fought against the Axis occupation force and the French Vichy regime. With cards, dice, and up to 4 friends, you can now do the same. As commander of a resistance group, you need to complete missions, called by a varied mission card deck. Roll your dice and execute your strategy wisely. Gather recruits, defeat enemies, or pass them along to the next player. The winner is the first to accumulate 12 glory points, or leader of the last resistance standing. From the beginning, the French resistance attracted people from all walks of life and political views. Poor people, aristocrats, conservative Roman Catholics, students, immigrants, liberals, anarchists, and communists. Naturally, the distrust between cells with different backgrounds and objectives was high. From time to time, this lack of faith even led to direct conflict. This distrust is the basis for the resistance mechanism. This allows you to trip up your advisories or sweet talk them, allowing your own group to accumulate more and more glory, and have great fun doing so. But don't forget, there can only be one winner. La Resistance, a game made by gamers, for all gamers, by Flying Pig Games.
Compass Games and Dawn of Empire. This is a war game centered on the naval aspects of the Spanish-American War of 1898. This is a game designed and developed by Steven Newberg and published by Compass Games. On Kickstarter now. David Thompson and Nicholas Agini's game by Stealth NC is going to be published by DVG. Check it out on Kickstarter.
DVG's next game is by Stealth NC, a solitaire and cooperative game by designer David Thompson, who also created Pavlov's House, Castle Itter, and For What Remains. But this time, David has teamed up with Nicholas Sagini, a wargamer and historical expert in the subject matter. Decima Flottiglia MAS, short for Decima Flottiglia Motoscafi Armati Serranti, Italian for 10th Assault Vehicle Flotilla, was a commando frogman unit of the Italian Royal Navy. Decima Flottiglia MAS was active during the Battle of the Mediterranean, using manned torpedoes, speedboats, and Gamma frogmen to attack Allied vessels. In By Stealth NC, you lead 3 teams of frogmen pilot manned torpedoes in attacks against the Royal Navy in the heavily guarded harbors of Gibraltar, Alexandria, and Algiers. By Stealth NC can be played solitaire or cooperatively without rules changes. When playing solitaire, you control all 3 human torpedoes. When playing cooperatively, divide control of the human torpedoes among the players or collaborate on their actions. You can play historically accurate standalone missions in just a half hour. But why play a single mission when you can play an entire campaign? By Stealth NC's campaign system features all 9 key historic manned torpedo attacks by the Decima Flottiglia MAS against the Royal Navy. During the campaign, you can advance your technology and train your frogmen, but the Royal Navy responds to successful attacks by improving their defenses. Each turn in the game is divided into phases. In the first phase, you will determine if any of the human torpedoes and other equipment experiences technical faults. Your operators will have to overcome these faults during the mission. In the second phase, you take actions with the human torpedoes. The goal of the human torpedo operators is to navigate to their targets, Navy and cargo ships. Traveling on the surface is easier for the operators, but makes them much more vulnerable to detection by the harbor defenses. Targets within the harbor are protected by anti-torpedo nets, which must be evaded. Once the operators reach their targets, they need to detach the warheads from the human torpedoes and attach them to the target ships. In the third phase, the Royal Navy responds to the manned torpedo attacks with searchlights, patrol craft, underwater dive teams, and shore-based mortars. We have conducted extensive research on this unique element of the Second World War. We've created a companion book filled with all the background information you'll need to fully understand the significance of Decima Flottiglia MAS and their human torpedo attacks. This game is perfect for veteran wargamers who want a game that is steeped in the history. However, the game's mechanics and quick playtime also allow more casual players to learn the system quickly. We would love for By Stealth and Se to join the DVG catalog, and you can help make that happen.
Has a new podcast out, podcast number 30, with Douglas Sun, and they discuss Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition and Pathfinder modules. Mauro Faina continues his podcasts with Cuba Libre and Storia of Italian Wargaming, or I should say, the Wargaming in Italy. Can Games, Ottawa, Canada, Friendly Mayhem since 1977. This will be taking place at the Rideau Curling Club. That's right, we're in Canada, at 715 Cooper Street, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. May 15th to the 17th, 2020. The BFG Con 2020, the Big Frederick Gaming Convention, March 13th to 15th, 2020 in Frederick, Maryland. In London, England, Cardboard Emperor Strategy and War Games, the 21st to the 22nd of March, 2020 in the main room, Young Chelsea Bridge Club. Breakout 2020, where? In Toronto. When? March 20th to the 22nd, 2020. The premier tabletop gaming convention in Toronto, Canada. GaryCon 12, March 26th to the 29th, 2020 in the Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, USA. This con is named after Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons & Dragons. Another week, another show. A hell of a week, eh? A lot of stuff closing down. Country shutting down. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you very much. And thank you to my subscribers. Please, if you're not subscribed, do so. Just a little click. Then you can click that little dingy bell wherever it is. And you'll get the news every week. If anybody has any news on anything war games, that's substantial. That's any news on war games, drop me a line at noenemies@videotron.ca, and I'll put it up and I'll mention your name. I need some help sometimes to look around. All right? Thank you, and be good, people. Don't panic. Don't forget to tune in Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday the 16th of March, where I will have Ben Harsh in conversation. I'll see you there. You know what I like? I like finding small companies, small things that belong just to me, so nobody else knows. You know, you see that mushroom? That mushroom's called an Amanita muscaria. Don't eat it. You're gonna die. Really, you're gonna die. I like big companies, where you pay big bucks and you get big boxes, top dollar. Sometimes the big companies won't invest in an idea like this one, Red Menace, The future, World War III in 1950. How cool is that? Wow, that's pretty cool. This is not even a company. It's one guy who invested his cash, printed the game, and now we're into the second edition. That's how good this game is. So this is a solitaire game designed by Brent Ward, right? And you gotta put yourself in the mind frame of the people in the 50s with the Cold War, U2 flying overhead. Where do you think the band U2 got their name from? The Russians ever so present because of the propaganda? That's what's cool about it. So in this game, you get an 18-page rulebook, a 7-page scenario book, an 11 by 17 quad-folding dry eraser map where you can dry erase. Plus 150 laser cut counters. First of all, this is what the map looks like. You got a sub in Greenland, you got surface-to-air missiles up in the Arctic, you got a bomber, or interceptor I should say, flying around just checking things out, seeing if everything's cool. And now you have this chart where you have friendly bombers telling you where they're going to take off from, and also friendly interceptors from the US, Canada, and UK. So you see, it's a regular day in 1959. We're ready for anything. I mean, they're not going to attack. Look how ready we are. And then this happens. We got 4 bogeys up in the air. We don't know what they are yet. Roger, what up there? Chaos. Chaos. No problem. We've been trained for this day, so we followed the sequence of play. So you draw a random event card, and oh look, it's a Russian sub, and he's shooting a missile. So you have to roll a d6, 5 and over, he attacks. Well, look at that. We got a 6. Now we have to roll a d6 and see what city he bombed. We just started the game. That's first strike capability. So you roll a dice, and we get a 6, so 6 is San Francisco. There's San Francisco, and now you have to draw from a pile of atomic bombs, and we get number 10. And just like that, 900,000 people vaporized. Worst disaster in war history, and we just begun. Well, now it's tit for tat. You gotta go destroy their cities while protecting yours. And they spawn from different points on the map, and I like this game. I like the fact that you don't know where they're gonna spawn from. Are your planes close by? They're inching closer and closer down. They're gonna take New York, Washington. You know what? And this happens in an hour. It's almost like, a little filler game. It's that easy. Red Menace by Brent Ward. Check it out. It's a great game. If you want to know more about war games, check out my channel, No Enemies Here. Salut!